The wind howled through the empty fields, shaking the barn doors as if it wanted to warn someone. John pulled his coat tighter around him. The night was colder than he had ever felt. Snow fell in thick sheets, covering the ground in a soft, white blanket. His farm was silent, except for the occasional creak of a tree and the whistle of the freezing wind. John had always loved the quiet nights on his farm, but tonight something felt different. There was a strange stillness in the air, like the world was holding its breath. He shivered and checked the animals in the barn. They were all safe, huddled together, but a strange feeling wouldn't leave him. He felt as if someone, or something, was watching. As he closed the last stall, a faint sound caught his attention. It was soft, almost like a whimper. John frowned. The wind could not make a sound like that. He moved carefully toward the back of the barn, where shadows stretched across the hay bales. The noise grew louder, a soft cry that tugged at his heart. When he reached the corner, he froze. In the dim light, he saw them. An alien mother, small and trembling, held a tiny creature close to her chest. Their skin glowed faintly in the darkness, like a pale moonlight. John had never seen anything like it in his life. The mother's eyes were wide with fear, and the baby made small, almost human-like sounds. John took a step back. He didn't want to scare them. His heart raced. I won't hurt you," he whispered, unsure if they could even understand him. The mother stared at him, and for a moment, the barn was completely silent except for the whistling wind. Then, slowly, she relaxed a little, her grip on the baby softening. John looked around. How did they get here? The snowstorm outside was terrible. They couldn't have survived long in the open. And yet, here they were, seeking shelter in his barn. His mind raced with questions. Who were they? Were there others like them? Were they dangerous? He decided to act carefully. John fetched a thick blanket from the corner and laid it gently near them. The mother sniffed it curiously but didn't move away. The baby made a small sound, almost a laugh, and John felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had never been this close to anything so different. Hours passed slowly. John stayed near the barn door, keeping watch. He wanted to help them, but he also wanted to understand them. The mother finally spoke in a strange, soft voice. It was not human words, but John somehow felt he could understand her meaning. She was scared. She needed help. She needed protection. John's heart went out to them. He had always been alone on the farm, but tonight, he realized that maybe he was not the only lonely being in the world. The mother's eyes met his, and he knew he could not turn them away. No matter how strange, no matter how risky, he had to help them. The snowstorm raged outside, but inside the barn, a small warmth began to grow. A bond had formed, fragile, uncertain, but real. John whispered softly to the alien mother and baby, promising that he would keep them safe. And for the first time that night, he felt a hope that even the coldest night could not freeze. Little did he know, this was only the beginning. Strange events were about to unfold that would change his life, and the lives of the alien mother and child, forever. The storm outside raged harder than ever, but inside the barn, John's small fire flickered, casting dancing shadows on the walls. He couldn't stop staring at the alien mother and her child. They were quiet now, huddled together, but their eyes, so wide and glowing, watched him as if reading his thoughts. John had seen many strange things in his life, but nothing like this. Something about them felt extraordinary. He crouched closer, careful not to scare them. The baby made tiny chirping sounds and reached for him. John hesitated, then gently held the small creature in his hands. Its skin was soft, almost warm, but there was a faint, strange hum coming from it, like a tiny heartbeat powered by electricity. Suddenly, the barn door shook violently. The wind? No, it was more than that. a shadow moved outside. John froze. He glanced at the mother, who stiffened instantly. Her glowing eyes darted to the door, filled with terror. She let out a soft, unearthly whistle, and the baby responded with a quick series of chirps. John's heart pounded. "Who's there?" he called, but the storm swallowed his voice. Then a figure appeared, a tall, dark silhouette just outside the barn. Its shape was strange, not human, but it moved with purpose. The mother hissed and stepped in front of the baby, growling softly. John felt fear ripple through him, but also a strange rush of courage. He couldn't let anyone, or anything, hurt them. He grabbed a lantern and held it high, revealing the figure. It was another alien, bigger and more menacing than the mother. Its eyes glowed red in the lantern light. It made a low, rumbling sound that vibrated through the barn floor. John realized, it was looking for them. The mother whispered something urgently, pointing toward a hidden corner of the barn. John understood immediately. He had to hide them. He helped the mother and baby slip behind stacks of hay and old farm equipment. The alien outside prowled closer, its movements precise, almost calculated. John's palms were sweaty, his heart hammering, but he stayed as still as a statue. Every second felt like a lifetime. Then, something unbelievable happened. The baby let out a high-pitched sound, almost musical. The alien outside froze, as if paralyzed by the sound. John noticed that the baby's hum had a strange energy. The red eyes blinked rapidly, and the alien retreated a few steps, confused and cautious. The mother nodded at John, eyes filled with gratitude and urgency. John realized that these creatures, though fragile and small, had powers beyond his imagination. And yet, they were gentle, scared, and completely dependent on him. His mind raced with questions. Why were they here? Were they being hunted? Who, or what, was after them? Hours passed, and the storm began to soften, but the danger had not vanished. John made a decision. He would keep them safe, no matter what. He would hide them, feed them, and protect them. But deep inside, he knew this was only the beginning. Whoever, or whatever, was hunting them would not give up easily. As dawn broke, the first weak rays of sunlight spilled into the barn. The alien mother and baby were asleep, curled together like fragile treasures. John looked outside and saw the tracks in the snow. They weren't just animal tracks. There were too many, and they moved in a strange pattern, like someone, or something, was circling the farm, waiting. John's resolve hardened. He had promised safety, and he would not fail. But questions kept swirling in his mind. How powerful were these aliens? What secrets did they hold? And what would happen when the hunters returned? One thing was certain. Nothing in John's life would ever be the same again. That coldest night had brought strangers into his barn, but it had also opened the door to a world far beyond anything he had ever imagined, a world of danger, mystery, and hope. And John was ready to face it all. The barn was quiet, but John could feel the tension in the air. Every creak of the wood, every whisper of wind seemed like a warning. The alien mother and her baby were asleep, yet their bodies twitched occasionally, as if responding to some invisible force. John watched them carefully, noticing the faint glow of their skin pulsating softly, like tiny living lanterns. Suddenly, a sharp crack echoed from outside. John froze. The red-eyed alien hunter was back. Its shadow loomed large against the snow-covered ground, moving closer, circling the barn. John realized it wasn't alone. From the darkness, faint shapes emerged, smaller creatures, strange and silent, almost like scouts. Their eyes glowed with a cold, eerie light. Panic surged through him, but John forced himself to stay calm. He couldn't afford to panic. He looked at the mother, who stirred awake. Her eyes met his, wide with fear. But there was something else, determination. She made a low, vibrating sound, almost like a warning. The baby responded with a higher-pitched hum that reverberated through the barn walls. John felt the vibrations under his feet. The energy was strange, powerful, and alive. Suddenly, the barn door shuddered violently. The hunter outside banged against it with inhuman strength. John grabbed a metal rod, ready to defend them. But he knew brute force wasn't enough. He looked at the mother, hoping for guidance. She gestured toward the loft above, where old hay bales were stacked. Without hesitation, John helped them climb up, hiding them in a narrow, dark space where no one could reach easily. Minutes passed like hours. The hunter slammed the door again, growling in frustration. Its red eyes scanned the barn, hunting for the glowing pair. John held his breath, heart pounding like a drum. He tried to think, how could he protect them? How could he fight something far stronger than him? Then, something incredible happened. The baby's hum grew louder, stronger. It wasn't just sound, it was a force that seemed to bend the air itself. The barn walls vibrated, dust falling from the beams. The smaller alien scouts outside faltered, their movements jerky and confused. The red-eyed hunter let out a deafening roar, retreating slightly. John's eyes widened. The baby wasn't just helpless, it was a weapon, a beacon of power and hope. The mother whispered something, urgent and commanding. John didn't understand the words, but he understood the meaning. They had a plan. And he had to trust them. He moved quietly, guiding them to the center of the loft, where the baby's glow shone brightest. The air tingled, charged with a strange energy that made his hair stand on end. Outside, the storm was fading, but the danger was far from over. The hunter wasn't gone. Its eyes glowed in the dark, scanning, calculating. John knew it would return, stronger and smarter. And when it did, they would have to be ready. For now, though, there was a fragile piece. John looked at the mother and baby, a mixture of awe and fear in his heart. They were more than creatures in need, they were survivors, warriors in a strange, unknown war. And somehow, he had become part of their fight. As the first light of dawn crept through the barn cracks, John whispered softly, "We'll protect you, no matter what." The mother's eyes glimmered with gratitude, and the baby's glow pulsed warmly, as if answering him. But deep in the forest beyond the farm, shadows moved with deadly precision. The hunter was not done. It would return. And when it did, the true test of courage, trust, and power would begin. The quiet of the morning was deceptive. Snowflakes drifted lazily through the cold air, but beneath the serene surface, danger waited. John felt it in his bones, the hunter would return. And this time, it would come prepared. He glanced at the alien mother and baby, who were still glowing softly in the loft. Their fragile forms belied a hidden strength. The mother's eyes met his, full of trust and determination, and John knew they were counting on him. He couldn't fail. Not now. Not ever. A sudden crash shattered the calm. The barn doors splintered under an immense force. John's heart leapt into his throat. The hunter had come. Its red eyes burned like coals, and its massive frame cast terrifying shadows across the barn. The smaller scouts followed, moving like silent predators, circling John and the aliens with deadly precision. John raised the metal rod again, but he knew it was useless against such power. Then he remembered the baby. The tiny alien stirred, its glowing hum building, vibrating through the air and into the barn's walls. The hunter froze mid-step, as if the sound had pierced through its mind. John realized the baby was more than vulnerable, it was a force of nature. The mother spoke urgently, her words melodic but commanding. John didn't understand, but he obeyed instinctively. He moved closer, shielding the baby with his body. Suddenly, the baby let out a high-pitched, continuous hum. The energy in the barn intensified. Dust swirled around them, wooden beams quivering as the hum reverberated. The hunter roared, a sound that shook the rafters, but the baby's energy pushed back. The smaller scouts shrieked, staggering as if invisible chains held them. John's fear turned into awe. He realized this tiny creature could change the tide of any battle, but only if they could survive the next moments. The hunter lunged. Time slowed. John dodged instinctively, swinging the metal rod, buying just enough time for the mother and baby to retreat deeper into the loft. The air crackled. The baby's glow brightened, illuminating every shadow, every fear, every threat. Suddenly, the barn itself seemed alive. Hay bales shifted, creaking as if responding to the alien energy. Beams trembled. The hunter stumbled, unsure of the unseen force protecting the loft. John felt adrenaline surge. He had become part of something far greater than himself. He was no longer just a farmer, he was a guardian, a protector of life unlike anything he had ever known. Minutes stretched like hours. The hunter roared, struck, and retreated multiple times, but the baby's energy held firm. Finally, exhausted and confused, the red-eyed hunter backed away. Its eyes lingered on the trio, burning with fury and calculation. It was not defeated, it was only retreating. John exhaled shakily, lowering the rod. The mother and baby glowed softly, curled together in the loft. Their trust in him was palpable, and for a brief moment, the danger seemed distant. But John knew the hunter would return, and next time, it would not come alone. As he looked out into the snow-covered field, he realized that his life had changed forever. What began as a cold, lonely night had become the start of a war he didn't fully understand yet, a war that would test courage, loyalty, and the bond between human and alien. And in the back of his mind, one thought burned brighter than fear: whatever came next, he would not abandon them. Not now. Not ever. The night was darker than ever, the wind now a screaming force across the snowy fields. John sat in the loft with the alien mother and baby, his body tense and alert. The barn, once a safe haven, now felt like a fragile fortress. Every shadow seemed alive, every sound a possible threat. The mother pressed the baby close, her soft glow pulsing faintly in response to the storm outside. She looked at John with an intensity that made his chest tighten. He could see fear, yes, but also a strange determination, as if she held secrets that could change everything. Suddenly, the baby stirred and emitted a high-pitched hum. This time, it was different, sharper, almost urgent. John felt the vibrations in his bones. The mother's eyes widened. She whispered quickly in her melodic alien language. Though he didn't understand the words, he sensed the meaning: danger was coming. A loud crash echoed outside. The hunter had returned, stronger, more relentless. Its red eyes pierced the night, scanning for the glow of its prey. But something was different. The smaller alien scouts had vanished. John realized the hunter had come alone, deliberate, patient, calculating. Without warning, the barn doors splintered again. The hunter forced its way in, massive claws tearing through the wood. John grabbed a metal rod, ready to strike, but he knew brute force alone wouldn't save them. The baby's hum grew louder, resonating like a living force field. Sparks of light danced in the air, making the barn tremble. The hunter roared, slamming into the loft support beams. Dust rained down. But the mother acted. She let out a sharp, melodic cry. The baby's glow intensified, and a strange energy burst outward, pushing the hunter back. John staggered but felt a surge of hope. They weren't defenseless. Together, they were powerful. Then the barn seemed to change. The air shimmered with energy. John felt it wrap around him, the mother, and the baby. Every creak of wood, every shadow became a weapon. The hunter hesitated, its red eyes narrowing. It was intelligent, yes, but it had not anticipated this bond between human and alien. John realized the truth. The baby was not just an innocent creature, it was the key. Its energy could repel even the deadliest predator. The mother's soft whispers guided John, teaching him instinctively how to protect them. He moved with her cues, positioning himself between the hunter and the baby, every action precise, fearless. The battle was brief but intense. The hunter roared, struck, and retreated, leaving deep scars in the barn walls. Its anger was palpable, but John noticed something more, a spark of fear. They had won, for now. The mother and baby glowed brighter, almost radiant. John felt a bond stronger than anything he had known. As the snowstorm began to wane, John looked at them and whispered, "We survived. But this is only the beginning." The mother nodded, and the baby chirped softly, as if agreeing. Beyond the barn, the dark forest waited. John knew the hunter would return, and next time, it would not come alone. But for the first time, he felt ready. They were not just victims. They were a team, a force that could challenge even the fiercest enemy. And in that cold, stormy night, John understood something profound: courage, compassion, and trust could ignite a power stronger than any fear. The forest was silent now, but John knew it was only the calm before the storm. Snow crunched under his boots as he circled the barn, checking every corner, every hidden space. The alien mother and baby were safe, for now, but the danger they had faced before was nothing compared to what he felt approaching. Suddenly, a low, vibrating hum shook the ground. The baby stirred, its soft glow pulsing faster and stronger. John's heart raced. He realized the sound wasn't just energy, it was a warning. The hunter was coming back. And this time, it was not alone. From the shadows, multiple figures emerged. Larger, more menacing, their red eyes glowing in unison. The hunter had returned with reinforcements. John froze. He knew they could destroy the barn, and him, in seconds. Fear clawed at his chest, but he pushed it down. He had to protect them. He had to survive. The mother stepped forward, her small frame glowing brighter than ever. She whispered in her alien language, and John felt an inexplicable surge of courage. The baby chirped, sending waves of energy into the ground, shaking the intruders. The forest around them seemed to respond, bending to the baby's will. John's eyes widened. The power of these creatures was beyond anything he had imagined. The red-eyed hunter roared, charging forward. Its reinforcements followed, circling with precision. John grabbed a metal rod, but instinct told him to act differently. He shouted, "Stay together," and guided the mother and baby into the loft center, where their combined energy would be strongest. Then the impossible happened. The baby's hum grew into a forceful vibration, resonating through every beam and plank of the barn. Light erupted in dazzling patterns, driving the hunters backward. Sparks flew, and the barn itself seemed to become a fortress of energy. John felt the power coursing through him, linking him to the mother and baby. They were no longer helpless, they were unstoppable. The hunters lunged again, but the energy pushed them back. One by one, the reinforcements faltered, unable to withstand the combined force of human courage and alien power. The red-eyed leader shrieked in frustration, retreating into the shadows with one last glance, promising a return. John exhaled sharply, his body trembling from adrenaline. The mother and baby nestled close, their glow softening, peaceful once more. John knelt beside them, exhausted but unbroken. He realized the truth: they were not just survivors, they were a force of hope in a dangerous universe. And he had become their guardian, their protector, and their ally. As the snowstorm faded, the forest returned to silence. But John knew the war was far from over. The hunter would return, stronger, more cunning. Yet, for the first time, he was ready. Together, they had faced fear, danger, and the unknown, and emerged stronger. John looked at the mother and baby and whispered, "No matter what comes next, we fight together." The baby chirped softly, glowing warmly, as if answering him. In that moment, John knew their bond was unbreakable, a human heart joined with alien strength, ready to face the universe. The coldest night had brought strangers into his life, but it had also awakened courage, power, and hope that no enemy could ever destroy. The first light of dawn filtered through the cracks of the barn, casting long, golden rays across the snow-covered floor. For a moment, it seemed like the battle was over. The storm had passed, and the red-eyed hunter had retreated into the forest, leaving John, the alien mother, and her baby in fragile peace. But John knew better. The universe had a way of testing those who dared to fight for life. He looked at the glowing mother and baby, their energy still pulsing softly, and felt a surge of determination. He had fought, he had protected, and he had survived, but this was only the beginning. Suddenly, the baby's glow intensified, bright enough to light the entire barn. The mother stepped forward, her eyes fixed on John. She spoke in her alien language, her tone urgent yet melodic. Though he couldn't understand her words, John felt every emotion, the fear, the warning, and the unspoken promise. She needed him to act quickly. Outside, the forest shivered. The red-eyed hunter had returned, but this time it was not alone. A massive shadow moved behind it, larger and more terrifying than anything John had seen. The ground shook as the creature approached, its roar echoing across the snowy plains. This was no ordinary hunter, it was a war machine of instinct, intelligence, and ruthless power. John took a deep breath, gripping his metal rod. But he didn't feel fear. He felt courage, a human courage strengthened by trust, hope, and the unbreakable bond with the mother and baby. He moved to the center of the barn, placing himself between the aliens and the approaching monster. The baby chirped, releasing a powerful vibration that rippled through the barn. Light exploded in patterns around them, forming a shield that repelled the first attack. The hunter and its monstrous companion roared, confused and enraged. The mother joined in, her soft melodic cries harmonizing with the baby's energy, creating a force that was both beautiful and terrifying. John realized then that the energy was alive, not just the baby's, not just the mother's, it was the combined power of hope, courage, and life itself. He felt it flow through him, guiding his movements, strengthening his heart. Together, they formed a force that no predator could withstand. The battle was epic but brief. The hunter and its companion, unable to penetrate the energy barrier, finally retreated into the forest. Their eyes glowed with hatred and caution, leaving no doubt, they would return. But John, the mother, and the baby were ready. They had discovered something stronger than fear, stronger than violence. They had discovered unity, trust, and the extraordinary potential of life itself. Exhausted but unbroken, John sank to his knees. The mother gently pressed her hand to his, and the baby chirped in soft harmony. They were safe, for now, but more than that, they were family. A bond had been formed in the coldest night, in the face of unimaginable danger, a bond that no hunter, no war machine, could ever break. As the first warm rays of sun melted the snow outside, John looked at the horizon. The world was vast, unknown, and full of danger, but he knew one truth: humanity, courage, and compassion could face any challenge, no matter how alien or powerful. The coldest night had tested them, the hunter had threatened them, and the universe had challenged them, but they had survived. They had grown stronger. And as a new dawn rose, John, the alien mother, and her baby stepped forward into the unknown, ready for whatever adventures awaited them. The story of that cold, unforgettable night would be told for generations, not as a tale of fear, but as a testament to courage, hope, and the extraordinary bond between human and alien.